The Golden State Warriors remain stunningly vulnerable. And again, I remind everybody, they were playing at home last night, having lost 3 straight, against the Philadelphia 76ers with no Joel Embiid.
Nope.
They've traded Nerlens Noel, and obviously Ben Simmons has yet to play for the Sixers, so it's not the same when they were a little hot earlier this year. And I want to remind everyone that through 3 quarters of that game, the Sixers led the Warriors at Golden State by 12. Wow. That's just shocking to me. And Steph Curry, through the first 3 quarters of last night, if you go back, I'm going to add on to the stat that went into the game. He was 20 of his last 84 three-point shots.
Wow.
That's 23.8%. That is obviously, when he says, what he said, is he in a rut? They were all using the term rut. That's a shocking slump. By his standards, back-to-back MVPs, the greatest shooter. Hasn't everybody proclaimed him the greatest shooter we've ever seen?
Yes.
Yeah. 20 of his last 84. That means he'd missed 64 threes over that stretch. I've often said they go as Steph shoots, especially at home. He just ignites the crowd. And obviously on the road at Oklahoma City, he can take the crowd out of it.
It seems to be contagious when they're home, Skip.
You got it. And yet, he's been in such a shocking slump that they've lost 3 straight. And then what happened last night started to make me doubt again, is Steph really the guy on that team? Because Draymond finally relit the fire in the 4th quarter, just playing defense. And for the game, he had 6 blocks and 4 steals, which is pretty great for Draymond. And he said after the game, they all talked about a little speech he gave after the 1st quarter, so it didn't seem to help for a while. But he made the comment, I'm going to paraphrase it slightly, but he basically said, Draymond, that as I go, as I lead, the others will follow.
Right.
And I'm starting to think, and again, he obviously missed Game 5 of the finals last year when he got suspended. I'm starting to think he's the man in Golden State. They kind of go as he sets the tone.
He is the pulse, though.
Yeah,
he's
the
pulse.
Heartbeat. Okay, so he's the heartbeat. And it brings me back to Steph Curry. This is such a crucial time for Steph because now we're coming down the stretch toward the playoffs. He's had back-to-back finals that by his MVP standards, not great. Iguodala won MVP of the first finals. And last year, in a Game 7 in his house, Steph's house, he was okay, but he wasn't transcendent the way you thought he would be at home.
He didn't go off like we have seen him go off in the playoffs before.
Correct. LeBron outplayed him, not head-to-head, but just overall for the game, LeBron outplayed Steph Curry. Now, Kyrie hit the shot.
Stop,
well, you know it and I know it. I got to put the exclamation point on it because that's what he did.
What about that? Hold up. I thought you liked triple-doubles. He had one in the last game, Game 7.
Oh, yeah, and he also had that bicycle built for 2 chase down block where he had 2 people on the bicycle. He and JR. He needed JR to cut across Iggy's path to slow him down, and then he came with the closing.
Skip, after playing 46 minutes, how could he so much of the courage and the strength? Where did it come from, Skip?
So back to Steph Curry. So Steph goes out in the offseason, and obviously Durant wanted to leave and come to Golden State, but Steph said, come on over. You know, like he welcomed him in. And I got to tell you, the more I think about it, I start to lose a little respect for Steph Curry because I don't think a lot of great players would have said, I need another great player, a player who could make a case he's even better than I am to come help save me after I won back-to-back MVPs. It's hard to say no to Kevin Durant, but, you know, obviously if we go to the top, the GOAT, Michael Jordan would have said no to Kevin Durant.
Well,
he just wouldn't. He just didn't need
Tom Brady should have said, oh, no, I don't want Dwayne Allen. I don't want Brandon Cooks. Man, get those guys out of here. I don't need a guy that runs 4-3 and give me a...
So Brandon Cooks is Kevin Durant?
Skip.
Wow.
Skip.
I didn't know that.
Skip.
I didn't notice. Maybe I didn't watch enough Saints
All
games.
I'm saying is Tom Brady should have said, I don't want a guy that can get down the field like Randy Moss did from 2007 to 2009. I don't need Dwayne Allen. I don't need a guy that was taken high in the draft and can score a bunch of touchdowns and have a great... I don't want that. I don't need Burkhead.
You know why he can get away with that? Because Tom Brady has paid his dues since the 2007 season with nothing but Edelmans and Amendolas to throw to, with an occasional Gronk who can't stay any healthier than Tony Romo can stay. So he earned the right to have at least one guy who can run 4-3, just one guy, Brandon Cooks. He's not a game changer, but he can run 4-3. All right, so back to Steph Curry. So he wanted Durant, he welcomed Durant, he lost Durant, and all of a sudden they lost it. They lost their way without Kevin Durant. Wow. Well, that means the pressure is mounting on Steph Curry.
Well, their margin of error is so small without Kevin Durant. Because they've integrated him into their team, and so they're used to playing with him as opposed to previous 2 years where they didn't, 67 and 15, 73 and 9. But I said it before, Skip, no KD, no jewelry. And last year, Skip, even this year with KD, they beat this team by 30 points. And if you look at it, Steph Curry was going into the fourth quarter was 4 of 17. So he got on that hot streak in the fourth quarter, and that was
three.
Yeah. But Skip, here's the thing. I'm really not overly concerned because Steph, okay, let me take it back. Let's go this way. I'm a little concerned because he is a shooter. He can't post. LeBron's outside shot is not going, guess what he can do? He can post you up. He can back you down. He can drive the ball to the basket. So can Russell. If Russell's outside shot's not going, he can go to the hole. That's Steph Curry, or Kyrie, James Harden. That's not Steph's game. Steph is not breaking you down, getting to the rack. Steph is a three-point distance shooter. And when the ball is not going in, it looks really, really bad. Now, since KD has been down, it's looked even worse because what's happening is, as a shooter, your mindset is, just keep shooting. Eventually, it's going to go in. But until it does, it starts to look worse. He's shooting the ball 4 more times since KD's been out. But none of those shots are going in. So now he's under 30% from three-point line, which is unheard of. That's worse than LeBron James' career playoff three-point percentage.
That's bad.
Oh, so yeah, I give you that little salvo. And that's the thing. We knew when Steph Curry, when KD came on, somebody had to Skip. Let me ask you a question. Let's put it in football terms. If Antonio Brown all of a sudden decided to join the Atlanta Falcons, or Julio or the Falcons decide to go to Pittsburgh, somebody's production is going to go down, isn't it?
Yep.
Everybody's not going to get 136 passes. So that's what happened. KD came on board. How do we integrate him? Because it's not like back in the 60s where you're shooting up 125, 130 shots a game. You're around 85, 90 if you're lucky. So now when you divvy all that up, KD get his 18, 19. Clay get his 18, 19. Steph get his 18, 19. Draymond go still want to get his 10 shots. So when you start divvying all that up, okay, the ball's got, somebody's production is going to hurt. Now KD is gone. Now how do we go back to the way we played the previous 2 years without KD when we've been playing with him all year? We worked so hard to get him integrated into our system. So until these shots start, because look, when the shots go, Steph Curry is shooting the exact same shots the previous 2 years.
Sure.
The only difference, they're not going in. When they were going in, because everybody else's bad shot was a great shot for Steph. Now that they're not going in, that was a bad shot for Steph. I mean, why would he shoot a 20? Because he's been used to making 27, 30, 40-foot threes. Because we saw what he did on that Saturday night in OKC, Skip, when he just walked into a 40-footer. Now, if he were to attempt that and it doesn't go in, like, Steph, what are you doing?
I would agree.
So,
and trust me, that's in the back of his head, too.
Exactly. But here's the thing, though, Skip. He has to keep shooting because he really has no other aspect. Who is he going to post up? Isaiah Thomas for the Celtics? He can't post up anybody, Skip. And he's not a guy like...
He can get to the basket occasionally, but not like Russell can.
But and Kyrie or James, but that's not his game.
No.
His game is the deep three, coming off picks. And yeah, he can get to the basket. You can get to the basket. Of course he can. He's just not a one-dimensional player, but that's not the best part. The best aspect of his game is putting the ball on the court, getting to the rack. That's not what he does really well. And right now, until these shots starts falling, they're gonna struggle from here on out, Skip, because they see them as vulnerable.
Sure.
And their second unit is not getting it done.
You know what? It's not remotely the way it was last year. When the shock troops came in last year, they could just blow you off the floor.
You're asking Sean Livingston play a lot more minutes than he used to. Barbosa could come in and he could hit a couple of threes. The next thing you know, he got 10 points.
Yep.
Iggy is playing more minutes than he normally plays.
Yep.
So he's not the same guy. And then think about it. You replace Kevin Durant with Matt Barnes. You give up 26 points. What's Matt giving them, 4? So that's the dilemma that they have.
And I'm laughing at Matt Barnes because he speaks like he's now the team leader. Like even last night, Draymond's doing the stand-up after the game, and and Barnes comes over and like rubs his head like I'm cool, like
Yeah.
I'm part of the
Yeah, you just
big
got
three
here
Come on,
yesterday.
what are you doing? Well, what are you doing? The
Gotta
point
make you
is,
feel good about your Spurs, though.
it does. And the bottom line is the door is a little open. And I'm not writing off Golden State when Kevin comes back, but now we await word on LaMarcus Aldridge's heart condition because the Spurs clearly need him, not on the offensive end. In fact, the other night, the ball moved a lot better without LaMarcus. I don't love him on the offensive end, but he's about 6'11" and
Yeah,
long,
yeah.
and he can
They're a long team.
he can protect
You
the
got
rim.
you got Dedmon at almost 7 feet. You got Powell at almost 7 feet. You got LaMarcus. You got Kawhi that has a 7'5" wingspan.
He does.
So it's hard to get the ball inside in all these passing lanes.
Look at you pitching for the
But
Spurs.
you know what, Skip? But you know what we got? We got that king of Akron. Boy, when you got the king of Akron, ooh.
Akron? Who is that?
Skip, don't do that, Skip.
I think it's Jason Taylor, right?
It is.
You know what? I'm gonna have.
You know what?
Do you have any family? I'm gonna have LeBron have y'all booted out of Akron.
Wait, we're talking
coming
about that he's the first ballot Hall of Famer as
Right.
opposed to the guy on this show who's
I'm the king.
Straight Talk Wireless. Best phones, best networks, half the cost.